This past weekend, Disney released their 60th animated film, Encanto. So over the next 3 days, I'll be ranking all 60 Disney animated films from worst to best. Here are the bottom 20. Coming in at last place at number 60 is Chicken Little. This movie is the meanest and most cynical of all these movies. I don't know what they were thinking. Jokes about how you have hate mail, you have more hate mail, your hate mail box is full, teaching the child viewers of this film that bullying is okay, and all these adults are harassing a child and his father. These grown adults are harassing a child and his father. On top of that, the movie can't even keep its story straight. Chicken Little thinks the sky is falling, and then Chicken Little joins a baseball team, and then aliens invade. It's just a string of bad ideas with even worse execution, and Disney should be ashamed of it. Number 59, Home on the Range. This has the same problem as Chicken Little in that the movie is just unpleasant, but at least this one can keep its story straight, even if its story is completely stupid. Every character in this film is loud and annoying, the villain is stupid and forgettable. There's a reason that Pixar kind of outshined Disney in the early 2000s, and this film was a big factor in that. Number 58, The Wild. I know this isn't technically part of the Disney Animated Films library, but Melody Time wasn't on Disney+, so I substituted it for this one. Really, it's just a ripoff of Finding Nemo in Madagascar. The animation is very, very cheap for a Disney movie, especially around 2006, and it looks like a knockoff movie that you'd find on Netflix or something. The only interesting part about it was William Shatner as the villain, but that's it. The rest of it's very forgettable and ugly to look at. Number 57, Fantasia. Now, I've never been a huge fan of either Fantasia movie, but I can see why people like it. It's just not for me. I appreciate it more from a studying perspective, the way that one appreciates going to a museum or a classical music concert, which is essentially what this is. I can appreciate the effort that was put into it, but other than Sorcerer's Apprentice, Night on Bald Mountain, and maybe the one with the dinosaurs, there's not a lot for me here. Number 56, Saludos Amigos. Personally, I don't think this one should even count as a movie because it's only 45 minutes, but it was on the list, so I have to include it. I know the word propaganda has a negative connotation, but that's what this movie is. It was released as positive, flattering propaganda during World War II to try and boost morale with South American countries and get them on our side, and really, this movie is basically somebody's travel slides. Number 55, Fantasia 2000. Same thing as Fantasia, I appreciate it from a filmmaking perspective more than I do an entertainment perspective, though I do think this one is slightly better, mostly because of the technological advances. It's kind of weird that they set Pomp and Circumstance to Noah's Ark, starring Donald Duck, and a lot of the attempts at humor from the celebrities don't work, but I put it higher simply because it just looks prettier. Number 54, Three Caballeros. It's fun seeing Donald Duck in something, but again, nothing super memorable about this movie, just more wartime morale boosting. Number 53, Dumbo. I do like that the story is very simple and can get quite dark at points, but this just isn't one that I'm going to watch again of my own volition. Number 52, Bambi. Basically an animated nature documentary with talking animals. This film is more educational than it is entertaining, but at least they had the guts to kill Bambi's mom and make one of the most shocking deaths in Disney history. Number 51, Fun and Fancy-Free. The only thing I remember about this movie is the Jack and the Beanstalk with Mickey Mouse, and that's it. The live-action segments kind of distract from it a bit. Enjoyable movie, just not very memorable. Number 50, Melody Time. It's great to teach kids about American tall tales, in this case Pecos Bill and Johnny Appleseed, but overall, just not a very memorable film for me. Number 49, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Basically a commercial for Disney's properties, though there is some fun with it, but overall the plot just isn't interesting. They made Vanellope unbearably annoying, and the message is awful. Hey, you want to stay in this really dangerous place where you could possibly die? Go ahead. Translation, let your kids explore the internet unsupervised or you're a bad parent. Number 48, Lady and the Tramp. It's cute. It's got one of the most iconic sequences in Disney animation with the Bellanote, but there's not really a lot to the plot. It's just kind of a cute story. Number 47, Cinderella, or more accurately, Mice. Because most of this movie is focused on the mice. Cinderella is barely in it, and Cinderella really isn't even that interesting of a character. This is more of a, look what we could do with animation film than it was entertainment. Number 46, Sword in the Stone. The main problem with this, the Sword in the Stone, is an afterthought. The title, the main thing in the title, is an afterthought. It's introduced at the beginning, and then brought in at the last second. The step in between is King Arthur before he became King Arthur. And this could be good, but the way they do it isn't very good. And if you want to see how it's done right, just watch the BBC show Merlin, because it did what this show was trying to do, but much, much better. Number 45, The Aristocats. No strong lean towards this one either way. Plot's not very interesting. The animation is not up to the usual Disney standard, but the music's good. Number 44, Fox and the Hound. As just kind of okay as this movie is, there's still some heart and emotion to it. There are moments where they let you feel the gravitas of the story and feel for the characters, but overall, the film as a whole is not very memorable. Number 43, Oliver and Company. It's a weird idea doing Oliver Twist set in modern-day New York City. Well, modern for 1988. And having some of the characters be animals, but some aren't, that's just weird. Like, the main characters are animals, except for this character is a human. Like, make up your minds. Billy Joel gives a good performance, but you can see why this was the last film released before the Disney Renaissance. You just kind of had to get it out there before Little Mermaid. Number 42, The Rescuers. The animation's not that great, plot's just kind of okay, villain's not that memorable. That's alright, it's cute, it exists. No strong feelings towards this one. Number 41, Black Cauldron. Now, I think this film gets way more hate than it deserves, but it's still not good. Main character is whiny and unlikable, Gurgi is annoying, but John Hurt as the villain is fantastic. There's some great dark imagery, but I can see why people forgot about it. So there you go, there's my bottom list. Come back tomorrow for the next part of this list, which will be numbers 40 through 21.